Hello, hello. Well, somehow you found us here. We've been like this underground network for, I don't know, better part of a decade. Some may even say 15 years. So welcome. And I would say welcome to the future. We've been doing this a long time, but the industry has not. And I think this will continue on well past my death. I'm Craig Patterson. I'm the founder of MadLab. I started this thing almost 2 decades ago now, and yeah, let's talk about the ethical and sustainable gym. Somehow you found us. Welcome, and I thank you for taking a look at us here. So I am going to start this thing, and I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. So the ethical and sustainable gym. This is our gym in Vancouver, BC. We started in 2004. I just want to talk a little bit about what you're going to learn. There's a whole series of videos. We've broken them up into pieces. So one of the things I'm going to talk about in the next video is the business model for independent gyms. It is unsustainable. I'm going to show you why. It is not set up for the client to win, the coach to win, or even the independent gym owner to win. And we're going to talk about what an ethical and sustainable gym is. What does that mean? What does it look like? Then we're going to talk about the prime directive. This is our, I guess, unifying thought or philosophy. And that is the client has to win, the coach has to win, and the business has to win. And then the next video is on the 6 key performance indicators. That's that tells us if the client, the coach, and the owner are winning. And then we're going to talk about the data-driven solutions. We have a client development process, a coach development process, and a business development process that's been honed out, like I said, over 2 decades. We did a huge clinical trial for years and years and years, and we applied the scientific method. I'm an engineer. I come from a systems and sustainable background, and as well as business development as well. These data-driven solutions produce the 9 laws. We're going to show you. These are the 9 fundamental things that if you do day in and day out, over and over, you don't have to worry about the next piece of equipment or marketing fad or, the next piece of software. You don't really care about any of that. This is all about building relationships. Then we're going to show you the economics. How many of you got into this business like I did, had no idea what year 1 should look like, year 3, year 5. By year 5, this is how it works. This is the economics of it. Year 10, year 15, we're going to show you that. We've done it, and we've showed hundreds of gyms how to do it. For me, that's very reassuring. I know what the math looks like. I know what I'm getting into. In this industry, no one ever sits down and shows the gyms what it looks like. They show them like, if you want to buy this franchise and here's 400 members, here's what first day looks like. What does year 3 look like? What does year 5 look like? Well, they don't know because they didn't do it themselves. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to talk a bit about MadLab's accredited college for coaches. We got accredited. 2009, we got registered. 2015, we're an accredited college. There's lots of people out there saying they're a university and that's all made up. We actually got accredited. It's a very rigorous process. Took us 6 years. And then a 3C process for gym owners. We have a certified process for gym owners to follow. You follow them, you do the work, you will have success. I'll show you what that looks like. Just a little bit about me so that you know where I'm coming from and you can relate. That's me and that's my son Braxton. A couple of years ago surfing. You see in the background, I started surfing. I was a hockey player, a basketball player. I started surfing old and fat and underpowered. And, it's something I worked really hard at and it brings me a lot of joy. So you'll see some of that sprinkled through this. I don't believe that the gym should be your be-all and end-all. You should have a very prosperous, wide life. If you're in the gym all the time, you're going to hate it. Anyway, I played hockey at McGill Engineering School in Montreal, Canada. It's the Harvard of the North. I did mechanical engineering there, and the key part was I learned a lot about thermodynamics and chemistry and physics and math and how everything all works together. Nothing works in a bubble. If one party's suffering, all parties suffer. Unless you're at the top and you don't care, you just want to take all the money. We'll talk about that. I worked for 2 Fortune 100 companies in systems and business development, and then I had a small engineering firm. It was sustainable design. I became one of the first sustainable design engineers, got LEED certified back in 2001, and did really good in that. That was a great part of my life. I sold that. I was starting another one, and somehow I ran into fitness. I ran into Greg Glassman at a charity event, and he was brilliant and smart, and back then, in those days, it was beautiful. It was like Secretariat. The people and that were around, and the intelligence and the passion for fitness, and it was back then it was basically a non for profit, and it was just a whole bunch of people sharing ideas in a, I would call it a massive think tank. So I started in 2004 just training people. And the reason why I'm telling you this is I started from the ground. I started training friends. I got myself fit, and I started training at parks and rec centers. Got thrown out of there. I started training people in a personal training studio. I started off at $5 an hour. When I raised my prices to 10, I lost half my clients. So it's either not very good or I had the wrong clients. The point here is I learned it from the ground up, and sometimes the sustainable engineering, I hadn't done the design work, and I told myself, you're never going to get, you got to understand every little bit of how this thing works. Anyway, within 9 months, I went from the $5 an hour up to, $50, $60 an hour, and I had small group classes, and, I was making $6,000, $6,500 a month take home, working 25 hours a week, and coming up with a client development process that looks, part of it's what we do today, 18 years later, with hundreds of gyms around the world and our flagship gym in Vancouver. And we had great retention. It was a great experience in my life. Sometimes I wish I could go back there, and I'm not taking all the responsibility, but it had its problems, which I'll show you. But, we did a one-on-one evaluation. We did 10 personal training sessions. I put them in a small group, and I got my percentage, and the personal training studio got their percentage. It was really simple. It was really beautiful time. It was super low risk. Anybody who's a personal trainer right now in any kind of a place where you can do a small group, or groups up to 5 or 6 or 7, even if up to 10, you can make a really good living in this. It's way better than just personal training. There's a combination of personal training and group, basically. And it's real simple. It's easy to control. It's good money. The cons are, at the time, I had one full day off per week. I was working mornings and evenings, because that's where most of the clients are, and no vacation pay. That's the number one problem with the personal training business is, you're rolling along good, you're working your balls off, and then you want to go take a 2-week vacation with your family, and you get nothing. Christmas time, nothing. You get sick, nothing. You got to go, help your parents out across the country, nothing. So I started seeing the problems pretty quickly. After about a year of that, it was very tough. And I couldn't take, I be honest with you, I like to go out Friday night and whip it up and have a bit of a party and go on dates. And I couldn't sleep in on Saturday morning. That sucked. And then eventually, the PT place where you're becoming too rambunctious and you got to leave. And, the biggest problem was there is other personal trainers. Their clients wanted to train with us, and I wouldn't take them, but it was a problem. And I had to open up my own space. So I lived this. 2005. Everybody's telling us, you can put them right into a group class. You don't need to do personal training. You don't even need to do an evaluation. You don't have to do a consult. I'm like, what? This sounds crazy. But anyway, we did it. We were told from everybody, this is how the industry works. And then you got to hire some pretty girls to coach classes, and paying them by the hour. And then if they have a personal training session, then you pay them more. And that's how the industry runs today. It's just 20 years ago. It was totally infantile in its thinking, and just not very well developed, in my opinion. But anyway, then you put as many people as you can in a group class, and then you try to upsell them personal training, and onboarding was straight into a group class. Eventually, it was like these fundamentals of 3 and 12, and then we tried a free week, a free month, a free bring a friend day, free on Saturday. It was all when we tested it and saw the numbers, it didn't work very well, but. We did this for about 9 months, and all of a sudden I had 2 partners. I didn't believe in myself enough then. I didn't think I could do it alone. I had a buddy of mine who's a doctor. Another one was a really good business guy. We're still friends. We managed to separate on good terms. It was tough there for a while, though. But, too many people were leaving the gym. Just this model, the churn rate of this thing was crazy. I couldn't really make relationships. I couldn't do the one-on-one stuff with them. The coaches were not incentivized to retain the clients. The coaches are paying them $25 for a class. They run the class, they're out the door. If Susie quits, that's not her problem. Everything was my problem. Spill on the floor, lights go out, someone doesn't show up for Saturday morning class. It's all my problem. And it became overwhelming. Within a year, we had so many people coming and going. Group classes had way too many untrained people. And this is how the industry works today. And it's It's really crazy. Like, why does it work that way? Why does it work that way? I was thinking, like, man, why did they do it this way? This, I can just see there's got to be a better way. But the problems become more and more and more. The coach took a vacation. They said they couldn't pay nothing. They couldn't make enough money to thrive. I was working my arses off. I mean, there's consultants out there selling, oh yeah, you go sell a bunch of personal training. But man, for them to be effective, and for the business, you had to work like 10 or 15 hours of classes, and they're not really well trained to upsell. And anyway, the thing was a disaster. Anyway, but about 2005, my buddy T-Bear, who's still a coach with me now, 17 years later, he came to live in my one-bedroom apartment, and all I can say is, you'll see everything that we developed. But it was like one huge clinical trial, scientific study. Maybe it looks like something like a first year or second year university student would conduct with the paperwork, but anyway, it worked. So over the next 10 years, I lived in a shitty basement apartment in Kitts Beach. I loved it, and we hung out with our best friends, and I didn't want to lose my clients. I didn't want to lose my coaches, and I didn't want to lose my business. So I grinded it out. We grinded it out, and you don't have to. The biggest thing I think we did was we focused on business development, not technical development. We got to a place technically we felt we were comfortable enough, and then it was like, how do we improve the business? How do we improve the business? And we did all these different things. So I think the most powerful thing we ever did was exit interviews. You sit down with people who have quit, and you made sure that that wasn't always easy to do, but we made sure we did. Just no way you're going to get away without us talking to you and ask them, like, how did we fail you? How could I got better? And anything else you need to say. And so we learned a lot from that. It was painful to hear, but I appreciate all those people telling me how badly I sucked. And after you do about 50, 55 of those, sometimes you figure out it's not just me, it might be them, and then you're doing a decent job. Some of the things, we even like figuring out how to work for the clients was test and retest and try. One-on-one, 3 people in a group, 10 sessions, 15, 25. Take any variation you could of a client development process, and we tried it. And then the coaches are like, man, if I bring in a client, I want a higher percentage, and they want to be paid on performance. I go, well, why aren't you paying me to keep the client? Isn't that what we want to do? We want to keep the client? We want them to pay for a high-value service? And I was like, yeah, well, why don't you pay me on that? I was like, that makes sense, right? And if I need to take a vacation, you need to get paid. And I'm like, okay, how do we figure that out? How do I make 80 to 100,000 a year? That was a non-starter. They weren't going to do it unless they could make 80. Anyway, slowly but surely, we hacked this all out, and we're still learning to take it to the next level. The next level, it doesn't end. This is my school of fitness, our accredited college. We do about $1 million a year. The last couple of years of COVID, it's been down a bit. It's coming back up. There's about 20% profit after everybody's paid, including myself. 6 full-time, I think it's 7 full-time coaches now. We just graduated as an apprentice. We've got 3 that have been there more than 15 years. They average around $79,000 a year. The top earner is like $115. The lower ones are $50. They're averaging $49 an hour. They're getting 5 weeks of paid vacation. I'm going to call it semi-paid. I'd say it's 66 to 70%, depending on how many clients they got. We're retaining 80% of our clients year over year, and the industry is at 70%. Our average client value is at $276 a month. They're actually going up to $290 next month. And we've showed hundreds of gyms around the world our business model and coaching programs, and it's worked for many. It hasn't worked for some. Like I said, if you're not a high performing person, if you don't consider yourself a high performer, then this is probably not going to work for you. It's not like the easiest thing in the world. Buy a license or a franchise, have 300 people come in, pay kids, by the hour to run it, and God help you, right? But if you're coming up against these barriers that you're still losing too many clients, you're losing too many coaches, and you're tired of being completely immersed in your business. You want a long-term asset. You don't want to be working like crazy hours. This is what we figured out. Like right now, I don't really work at all in the business other than provide opportunity to people across our network, and it's a really good life, right? Wasn't there for a long time. It was really hard to figure it all out, and we grunted it out, But if you're an independent gym, if you own your own gym, right? If you're inside of a franchise, it's going to be tough to change the franchise because they That's not set up for you to long-term win. That's set up for them to win short-term. So that might be tough, but we have worked with them. Independent gyms, self-branded gyms, we love those guys. We came from CrossFit. We still get a lot of CrossFit gyms. The brand is an issue sometimes, but it still seems to work. Movement gyms, there's all kinds of those. Gymnastics, powerlifting. We even have high-performance gyms, guys that put people into the NFL and stuff, some of the best in the world. We've worked with Pilates gyms, yoga gyms, golf. We still have dance studios. Anything that's technical in nature and requires a relationship, and you're selling a service. That's how you want to be a high-value service. You're not just selling this, come in, do a workout, and leave. It's more than that, right? The 9 laws, what you learn about. There's a set of fundamentals that work day in and day out, like I said, that you follow. That you're not chasing your tail of the new shiny thing all the time. There's a set of fundamentals that works, proven to work, shown to work, studied. I'll show you one of these things that we did studies like for years and years. We even looked at 1,600 gyms over 16 months with Zen Planner. This stuff works. It's not made up. It's not bullshit. I've done it myself. We ever proof of concept, flagship gym, hundreds of gyms that have done it. Here's 50 that are crushing it, and it's focused on the long term. It's not focused if you want to bring in 50 clients tomorrow and you got 3 untrained coaches. That is not what we're doing. It's not going to work. It's just going to churn through people and ruin your reputation. We're in the long, slow game of building a valuable asset, a coaching team to go with that, and a great community. That's what we're doing, right? So I'm going to leave you with one thought before you get into the other videos. The industry has been hyper-focused on fitness protocol. The next fitness protocol, it was curves, and then it was, Zumba, and then it was like CrossFit is its own thing, and it did revolutionize the world, but it's still a fitness protocol. And then, now it's like Power Monkey and Super Athlete and F45, and, it's a fitness protocol. Pilates, yoga, gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, they're fitness protocols. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what fitness protocol you're using to be successful, right? To keep your clients, to have coaches that stick around 20 years and make a professional wage and have a profitable business. That fitness protocol, I don't give a shit how good it is, how great it is. That is not the defining factor. That will not make you successful, and it's been proven over and over and over again. So how you run your business, who's running it, how you do it, the integrity you have, the smarts you have, the math of how everything works is what's important. That will make all the difference. When I started this, I built this for myself. If I could go back and look at it 18 years ago, if someone had this series of 7 videos show me that, Patty, here's the right way to keep your clients. Here's the right way to keep your coaches. Here's a long-term plan for your next 15 years. Here's the fundamentals to solve day-to-day problems, and I am here on call. We'll meet every week, and I'm here on call to when all these different things are going to happen. I'll tell you, all these things are going to happen. No matter how good your systems are, no how good your people are, you're going to face all these things. If I could go back and watch all these videos you're going to see today, I don't know what I'd pay for that. I'd probably take a loan and pay $500,000, to be honest, because that would have saved unbelievable heartache and financial loss, really, to go through all those things. And this is just basically how you develop an ethical and sustainable party. So, what does it mean to be ethical? Well, ethical means all parties win. Like, everything's winning. Everybody's winning here. The clients are winning, the coaches are winning, ownerships are winning. And then they're not just winning day one. Opening a business and, it's a popular new thing and people flood in and this and that. That's might be viable, but for how long? And we've seen that time and time and time again in this industry that it is not sustainable. So the parties have to win forever. They keep on going on. The thing just works, right? So I hope you enjoyed the first video. Stay tuned, get tucked in. Throw the phone away, throw the food away, shut down the browsers, and just dig in here. This is the real deal, and I thank you for watching.